Today's shout out goes out to Mrs. Navarro's Science and Social Studies class at Berkmar Middle School in Lilburn, Georgia. What field does an angler work in? Here we go. Is it geometry, land surveying, billiards, or fishing? You've got 3 seconds. Go. An angler is someone who uses a hook and line to fish. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
Well, most of you can head to a nearby lake and do some angling, but the fishermen who work on boats off of Cape Cod, Massachusetts need to cast a wide net for their catch. Some officials are concerned about how those net results are affecting the fish population. David Ariosto looks at the debate.
Federal regulators are now contemplating what for generations seemed inconceivable: shutting down or heavily restricting cod fishing in the Gulf of Maine. A recent federal assessment concluded the fish population was far lower than experts had thought. Just 3 years earlier, the government had said the region was well on its way to recovery from decades of overfishing. Now, officials are saying that forecast was wrong. For these fishermen, hundreds more like them, and the thousands who depend on their trade, tighter restrictions on their catch could cost them their jobs.
So we've been cruising a little over 6 hours now through the Gulf of Maine, and this crew has netted about 100 pounds of fish, mostly flounder and cod. And the day is nearly half over. A successful day is more like 1,000 pounds of fish, from what the guys tell me. So clearly there's a sense of frustration here along the boat as we try to make that final push and look for more fish.
The hunt is on.
But the fishermen say that this was just a bad day, that with fewer boats now and more restrictions, the sea is actually full of fish. Environmentalists reacting to the government's latest assessment say the industry should contract to safeguard the health of the fishery. But others say counting fish beneath the water is a murky science. Research boats run random samplings at sea, but because where fish swim is uncertain, the numbers they catch, like our own experience out on the water today, can vary.
It's really not much different than a weather report. I think we've all become accustomed to the weather report coming from data and a model, and we understand that the forecast may not be perfect.
Here in Gloucester, Massachusetts, cod is king, bringing in nearly $16 million a year for the regional economy, and even more when distribution sales are tallied. Others with roots here say some way must be found to both protect the ecosystem and keep fishermen working. David Ariosto, CNN, out at sea in the Gulf of Maine.